Are you ready to pump up the anxiety a bit? Well, there's a lot visually in this beginning section that we can add sound design to.
Oh, what a busy day! It's almost dinner time and it's too late to make dessert.
Wait, it's not.
Why don't we add something for the baby? Let's go to the Apple Loop browser, which actually has an entire effects category that we can use to find our sound design elements. So I'll search for baby and see what comes up. Let's take a listen to a couple of these to find which one works best. Well, I think any of these can work, but the baby in Baby Cry 1 sounds pretty upset, so let's take that one and drag it into our track. As we watch the picture, notice where the baby visually appears.
Oh, what a busy day! Oh, what a busy...
Well, we have our baby cry effect starting on bar 1, beat 1, but visually, it appears slightly later than that. So I'm going to move the playhead around a little and see if I can find the exact point where that comes in. So it kind of fades up into it. It kind of looks like the audio waveform fades up to a peak itself. So we'll place the beginning of the waveform to coincide with the visual fade up. Now let's play the track.
Oh, what a busy day! Oh, what a busy day!
Now that you see how the basic process works for placing your sound design elements, I'm going to go ahead and bring in a bunch of other sounds to coincide with what's going on in the picture. So I'll bring in a telephone ring, a clock ticking, a man knocking on the door, and pots and pans, which come into the picture a second or two later. It looks like the mother is walking on some type of conveyor belt, so I'll bring that in as well. I've gone ahead and added all the sound effects I want in at the beginning. I've used the conveyor belt as kind of an underlying sound, or bed, for the rest of the effects to sit on top of. Let's listen to what this sounds like. I've spread some of the elements out, like the telephone and the pots and pans, so that not everything is playing at the exact same time. I've also copied and pasted the door knock sound, so it plays twice to emphasize the anxiety and tension. Let's give it one more quick listen. Now, they suggested in the brief the possibility of adding some musical element to the beginning as well. There's kind of a lot going on here already, so whatever we do shouldn't be too busy. I thought about adding an acoustic bass that could set a tone underneath the voiceover and sound design. Since the main groove of the piece will be in A major, we'll set our bass part in A minor so that when A major comes, we'll really feel a shift in mood. Even though we're going to work in A minor though, I think I'm going to avoid using the minor third, which is a C, and stick to the root, the fifth, and flat seventh notes. The minor tonality will be implied. Using the minor third might create too much of a sad atmosphere, rather than simply an anxious one. So I'll keep the tonality a bit more ambiguous. I think the acoustic bass sound will work well here, because its lower range will stay out of the way of the voiceover and sound effects. A synth bass or electronic bass sound I think would be out of character. So I'm going to put the track into record, and what I do is basically improvise my composition. You might feel more comfortable composing in a different way, but because of my background as an improviser, I found this to be a productive method. I might not get 100% of what I want the first time around, but I'll usually do a few passes and then see what works best. And from there, it's a matter of shaping, editing, and reworking my improvisation to tighten it up. This improvisational method allows me to get my first reaction to what's going on visually, to find something intuitive. Also, I find that getting the creative process started is often the most difficult thing to do. So sitting down and improvising gets me past that initial hesitation and gets me into the process right away. I see these improvisational passes simply as throwing down my initial reactions. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about the sounds I'm using or the accuracy of the parts I'm playing. I'll pull up on a generic or stock sound like a factory piano or Rhodes just to get into it. I'm trying to create a basic layout or compositional game plan first, which I can then go and refine and turn into a masterpiece later. So I've got a stock acoustic bass sound here in my EXS24 sampler, which I'll go ahead and lay down to picture. I don't need a click while I'm recording since this part is going to be rubato, but I do need a click just to count me in. So I'll go ahead and set that here in the metronome tab of the project settings. So here we go. Let's check that out. Let's do a second take. Let's hear that one. Maybe it's even a little too busy. I'm going to try one with fewer notes. I think I like that one the best. I'll probably keep it low in the background when I mix it. This intro can probably work without bass since there's so much going on already, but since they requested it, we'll give them the option. They can always ask us to remove it later. In the next video, we'll move on and flesh out the composition for the rest of the spot.